Welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have a different style of FIFA-ish video. All 28 MLS teams that are in FIFA 23. Obviously here is every 28 team in MLS. We even have the 3 Canadian teams. They're a little bit bootlegged into the thing, so you can see Vancouver at the top left. We can see Toronto above Ohio, and then Montreal above New York and Maine and all them Vermont states. This is MLS Imperialism. By the end of either this video or part 2, if there is a part 2, one team, one logo will rule all 50 states. So for instance, let me give you an example. FC Dallas, here you can see towards the bottom in Texas, the first, like, they go south. We'll go ahead and spin a wheel. We'll see what team we get, and then we'll spin another wheel to see what direction we go. And if they go straight south, they will face off against Austin FC on a FIFA, just regular FIFA kickoff quick sim game. We'll see who the winner of that is, and whoever wins that will get the other team's territories. So if Austin beats FC Dallas, they will now get that whole top part of the state, and that will all become green, and Houston Dynamo will just still have that little sliver. Now let's say FC Dallas go ahead and get west instead of going south into New Mexico, where nobody is there. There's no team, no MLS team in New Mexico. They will go ahead and get that territory, that whole state, for free, and they will just keep expanding into either somebody battles them or they go ahead and obviously take over the world. So let's go ahead and show y'all wheel app. We have all 28 teams here. Let's go ahead and spin it first to see what club we can get up first. This is pretty much where we're kicking off here. And we are going to go ahead and get the Portland Timbers. Portland Timbers near the top left of the map, obviously in Oregon. We'll go ahead and see who they face off. And then we'll go ahead and spin this direction wheel, and whichever way, they can't really obviously go west, because if they go west, then it doesn't matter because they're going into the Pacific Ocean. They definitely can go south. So let's go ahead and go into the south territory here. Portland Timbers right here, this green one. They are going south, which is into San Jose. So we can go ahead and have our first battle here for the MLS Imperialism, which is going to be on FIFA through a quick sim. So Portland versus San Jose. And so we have Portland Timbers versus the San Jose Earthquakes. The winner of this will go ahead and get the others' territories. Let's go see who is the rightful winner here. It's a 5-4 win on penalties for Portland. So Portland are going to go ahead and creep themselves in towards the California, I don't know what I was trying to say, but they are going to go ahead and transform themselves straight into this California squad here, into this nation here. So let me go ahead and erase this, and and then just letters, just stuff there, and we will go ahead and get rid of the okay, that, and there is San Jose, and Portland Timbers go ahead and take a part of California. They now own their whole state of Oregon and 1/3 of California. Let's go to the next team. Let's see who is up next. We now have 27 teams on the wheel, obviously with San Jose being out there now off of this wheel because they really can't make a comeback. And next up is Sporting KC. And if you don't know who Sporting KC, it's right here, this blue one next to this big Colorado Rapids in Kansas. That is where Sporting KC is. So let's go ahead and see what direction they're going. Let's see what direction they are going. I will mute this when it's about to pop because it's really loud. I could probably make it lower actually. They are going north for KC in Kansas City. That is straight into South Dakota. No, that's not Dakota. That's straight into Nebraska, right? If I'm not mistaken, Nebraska. Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. They are going straight into North Nebraska, into Nebraska for free. So they get free territory out of it. No teams are knocked out, which is good and also kind of bad a little bit, because it means it slows it down just quite a bit. But we can go ahead and put him towards the central now. And now Sporting KC also own a little bit of free real estate with no blood on their hands. Let's go to the third team here. Next up here for the wheel, I don't know why this is not muted. I mean, it is muted, but it's not muted. We have LAFC, the team that won it all. I think LAFC won it all last season. They are somewhat struggling this season. See what direction they go. They obviously can't go west again because that would be straight into the Pacific Ocean, and that is just obviously not feasible. But they can go northeast. Now LAFC right here one of the other two California teams, and they are going northeast, which is into Nevada, which is going to go ahead and be another free territory for another MLS club, this time for LAFC. And there it is. LAFC now have this little decent chunk of land next along with Portland Timbers. Can we finally get somebody maybe on the East Coast? Let's see. I kind of want the Texas Derby already, to be honest. Go ahead and see what club is up next. And the fourth club up is going to go ahead and be FC Dallas. It's looking like a real possibility that we might finally get our first Texas Derby of this video. Just give me south, give me southeast. That would be good enough for me. Give me south. Just don't go north or something. And we are going north. FC Dallas are going north, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a free spot into Oklahoma. It is. FC Dallas are going to go ahead and obtain Oklahoma for free, which is unfortunate. And FC Dallas has taken over Oklahoma. This could actually lead to some big part. There's a big gap here between Louisiana and all these states, like the 4 states right there, between Louisiana, in between all of them, and then south of Minnesota, obviously. Obviously, these states up here towards the top right, they're going to be a little bit tricky to get into. DC United is holding down such a small part in Maryland. We obviously have Ohio battle in Columbus and Cincinnati, and then New York battle in between FC and then Red Bull. It's been interesting. I kind of want to see if we can get a California team, a Canadian team. But 5th up on the list, it is going back into, no mind, we are going to Minnesota. I thought we was going back to California for LA Galaxy, but instead we are going to Minnesota now. Minnesota, they can't really go north. I don't think they can't go north at all. They cannot go north, so let's see which way they can go. If they go south, they obviously have a free state. I think if whatever way they go, they have a free state. I think west, they also get a free state. In that, they do. Now, the question is, in which part, which west, what Dakota do you give them, north or south? I'm going to go ahead and give them North Dakota. I'm going to go ahead and give them North Dakota. And there you go. Minnesota now have North Dakota, and if you look at it, that looks like a hand sum, if y'all know what I mean. I can't really say because the video would get blocked. I wouldn't say demonetized because I can't make money, but it would get blocked. Next up on the short list here, I really hope future me when I'm editing this takes out those things. We get our first Canadian team, Vancouver, who's in towards the top left of the map that you have all been seeing. They can really only go south. That's the only way they can really get involved. So actually, in fact, that's actually the only way they can get involved. So no matter what they say, in fact, it actually went south anyway for me. But the only way they can get involved is going south against Seattle. So they will face off against Seattle. Now, if Seattle win this, they actually won't gain any territory because this is technically where Vancouver is. It's technically not part of the map. And if I would fill it in with Seattle, it would fill in the whole map. And if Vancouver win it, they will technically lose their Canadian spot, but they will gain that whole state of the Seattle, of Washington. So let's go ahead and get into FIFA, and let's set up a battle. Vancouver versus Seattle. Looking on paper, is looking like Seattle is a better team, and in real life they're a better team. Now, when Alphonso Davies was at Vancouver, when he was his breakout season for himself before he went over to Bayern Munich, he was very good for the squad. The team wasn't very good, but he was very good. And Vancouver go ahead and knock off Seattle. So Vancouver are going to go ahead and lose their really home place in Canada, and they will just creep themselves into Washington and knock out Seattle Sounders. We say goodbye to finally another MLS club after so many free territories. Vancouver will get this whole state of Seattle, and then this will just go ahead and just turn white, if I can make it white, which I think I can, right? And there we go. Now they obtain the most top left part of the United States. We say goodbye to another part of Canada, but we say hello to another part of... We are down to a whopping 26 clubs. Obviously, this might actually end up being a part 2 video, but we are getting a load of the free states out of the way, and we have another California team, LA Galaxy. Now, LAFC, they got a free one. LA Galaxy, or San Jose, they got knocked out to Portland. What is going to be LA Galaxy's fate here? They obviously can't go west. Don't think they can't really go south. They can go southeast, but they can't go south because that'd be part of Mexico technically. They can go not northwest. Actually, they can't go northwest. They can only go north. So we cannot go northwest with LA Galaxy. We're gonna have to spin it again here and see what we get. Northwest again. Okay, this is starting to get a little bit annoying. Give me something else that is not northwest, please. Just give me east. All you gotta do is just give me east. If that stays at northeast, okay. Northeast. I'm pretty sure that's actually a battle with technically LAFC, because technically this is technically east. Northeast is creeping into LAFC, so we are going to have an El Tráfico battle here. LA Galaxy versus LAFC. Who's going to come out on top? I'm going to say it's going to probably end up being just LAFC, but on FIFA you may never know. LAFC versus LA Galaxy. There is going to be a battle here. Can Carlos Velo knock out LA Galaxy? Yes, they can. It's Murillo who gets the job done. 1-0 for LAFC. They will take over now 2/3 of California. LA Galaxy will say goodbye to you. Now, really, the only California team left technically in the competition is LAFC after Portland went over and take over San Jose. And now LAFC are going ahead and deleting. And so the left-hand side here is actually kind of forming some dominant teams. Obviously, LAFC, Portland Timbers. We have Sporting and FC Dallas down the middle, and Glass if you include Minnesota. We do not have an East Coast team yet. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see if we can finally get one. And in fact, I think I might just fully do that until we do get one. I gotta get rid of LA Galaxy though first. LA Galaxy, goodbye. Let me go ahead and spin the wheel here. Let's see who we get next. I might have to shuffle it up a little bit to make sure we get a proper team. We are going to Texas. I will actually allow that. We are going to Houston, Texas. Let's go see who they battle off. See if they can get a Texas Derby or are they going to get a free state in Louisiana or something else. It's going to be Houston. We are going Southwest. Is that technically possible? Is that possible to get Austin FC? It is. Southwest is technically possible to get LAFC. We have the compass here. Southwest. There you go. Southwest. I mean, that's just as good as it's going to get. We have a Texas battle here. Austin FC versus Houston Dynamo. Austin FC versus Houston Dynamo. Now, we did just go ahead and beat Houston Dynamo in real life, and we go ahead and beat them again on penalties. Austin FC are going to go ahead and take the other small little chunk of Houston Dynamo, but we say goodbye to our Texas team, the first out of the three. Now only Austin and FC Dallas are fit to stay here in Texas. And there we go. We have Austin and FC Dallas, the only two teams left in Texas. Austin can really only go east. They can really only go east if they want a free state. Any other way, it's a straight battle into FC Dallas, unless maybe northeast into New Mexico, but that's highly unlikely. Let's go and get into our next club. And we have shuffled the board. Let's go ahead and spin up for the next club here for Houston. Not here, Houston, but for the MLS Imperialism. And we are going to go ahead and get Austin FC, the team who just took down Houston Dynamo. We are up next. We can really only go northeast we can only really go east for a free state. North is going to be a straight head-on-head with FC Dallas for a big chunk of land. Please give me north. Just give me like straight north. It's actually going to go ahead and do that. It will do that. We have Austin FC versus FC Dallas. Only one Texas team will remain after this battle. Let me go ahead and set it up and let's get into it. FC Dallas versus Austin FC. Now on FIFA paper, obviously I have a feeling this is going to go ahead and go to Austin FC. It shouldn't, but it should go to FC Dallas. It will go to FC Dallas. FC Dallas go ahead and knock off Austin FC. We say goodbye to the Broccoli Club, unfortunately. Austin FC won't be able to rule it all, unfortunately, but FC Dallas now have the remaining part of Texas. They will also have, obviously, Oklahoma, and they will have a majority chunk of land out of all the clubs, because Texas is obviously Texas is massive, so they will have a big chunk of land. Austin FC, goodbye, and then FC Dallas will go ahead and get a little bit larger. They now control the whole entire Texas and Oklahoma. They have the most land in the land. Let's go and move on. Next club up. Next club up is New York. Yeah, it is New York Red Bulls. We are finally going over towards the East Coast. New York Red Bulls now. If you don't know who New York Red Bulls is, if you're not an MLS watcher, New York Red Bulls right here, the big red part of New York. They obviously have a battle with New York FC. And in fact, anywhere they go, it is a battle, because even if they go east, that's straight into the other part, the other half of New York. It won't be into that slither of the other Vermont state. It's gonna be a battle here. Let's see who they battle off against. They could obviously battle off against technically both Canadian teams left in the region, and they are going northeast, which is going to go ahead and be a battle over, well, northeast is technically Montreal, so they are going to go ahead and battle Montreal in another battle. Now Montreal go ahead and win this, they will take over New York's spot, and obviously their spot will be taken over, the same as the Vancouver that happened with Seattle. But for simple stakes, I kind of hope New York Red Bulls win, just for simple stakes. Let me go ahead and set this up. Canada versus New York. Let me go ahead and jump into the quick sim. Who wins? It's Montreal. They go ahead and knock off New York Red Bull. It's a brace from Rhea Burke, who scored in the 3rd minute for New York. Go ahead and not get the job done. Instead, it's Montreal, another Canadian side taking over an American side, and they will obtain this little part of New York. Actually wasn't that hard at all, and there it is. Montreal now take over that part of New York. They obviously still have technically now what is now another New York battle between New York FC and Canadian side, not Vancouver, but Montreal. Let's go ahead and get into the other team wheel. We are slowly but surely losing a little bit of the teams. I gotta find New York Red Bulls. Where are they at? They're right here. New York Red Bulls. All these ads are making it hard to actually delete clubs. Let's go ahead and see who we get up next. I don't know how many clubs we're down to. We're down to like 20 something. It is Charlotte FC, one of the newer clubs. Technically, is it the newest club in FIFA 23? I think it is, right? It was Charlotte's first year last year in MLS, if I'm not mistaken. So it's their first edition into FIFA 23. The new club on the block, technically on FIFA, technically, but not really, because it's really St. Louis now. And they are going northwest. Which way is northwest for them? Northwest is actually going to ahead and get over. Now Charlotte FC go ahead and get northwest, which is going to go ahead and be into the free state of North Carolina. So they will take over both Carolinas, obviously residing in South Carolina. They will now take over the North Carolina, and they will look to grow. They might have a possibility of a battle with Nashville sooner rather than later. But Charlotte United get a little bit bigger there. And a lot of blue clubs are seceding, so maybe the theme is to be blue. So FC Dallas, Real Salt Lake, we have yet to get. Maybe they'll go ahead and knock off LAFC, but a lot of bluish clubs are going ahead and secede. Now Chicago technically should be blue, if you really want to put it like that. They should really be blue. They will go ahead and turn to blue. The only reason why they weren't this blue is because of battle with Minnesota, but I will remember that in my head. I mean, Newcastle or Vancouver is that same color as well. How many clubs are we down to? We're down to 22, so we lost 6 clubs. I've been recording for half an hour. Oh my, this might actually have to be a 2-part video. But next up, it is going to go ahead and be the other New York club, New York City FC. Now, obviously, Montreal did take over them. Will take over their rivals in New York Red Bulls. Let's go say if they can get a battle against Montreal to revenge the New York and claim New York as their own, or will Montreal, if they do get them, go ahead and take over New York completely. We are going northeast. It's looking like we're not going to get a battle, and in fact, northeast is technically northeast is technically creeping into that New England Revolution kind of part of the state in Massachusetts, but we could also give it to them to one of the either Vermont or New Hampshire, one of those two. Whichever one the first one is, I don't know which one that is. It's one of those two. I know it's those two states there. Might as well just merge to one state. I mean, really, what's the point? But it is going to go ahead and be a New England Revolution battle. So will New York continue to gain east, or will New England Revolution take over that spot and New York clubs be completely out of the equation here? New England Revolution versus New York City FC. Will New York keep the New York reputation up, or will they completely get wiped? They will go ahead and stay alive with the 95th minute winner from Keaton to go ahead and put themselves through, knocking off New England Revolution. They will now get the whole state of Massachusetts. Now, New York City FC go ahead and look like an airplane right there. So they go ahead and take over there. We're getting some little bit East Coast action. I don't mind it at all. But with that being said, we say goodbye to another club in New England Revolution. We are now down to 21 MLS clubs. We still have all 3 Canadian clubs. Toronto yet to be touched at all. But Montreal and Vancouver also doing a little bit bits. And talking about another Canadian club, Toronto. We go ahead and actually go ahead and get them. That's kind of insane timing right there. I've been getting some insane timing lately. Toronto, they can really only go south, really, into the USA. So, west. I would just count that as southwest. Can they really only go south? They can go west and east. No, they can technically go south or west and east. So they do go ahead and go west. Now, if I'm not mistaken, hold on. There's technically a chunk of Michigan missing here between like Minnesota and really connected to Wisconsin. There's that little chunk that's technically part of Michigan, but it's not really touching this Michigan part here. But they are going west, which means they are going to go ahead and actually get Michigan for free. So that is good for them. They will creep themselves into USA without taking any spot from a USA club, but instead getting a free territory. And there we go, Toronto into the USA. Now all Canadian clubs are into the USA. We are slowly but surely making progress. If you are enjoying this, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. This might end up being 2 parts, so if you want to see the second part, I really hope this does well. I'm putting so much time and effort into this. Just go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. If not, I mean, the Youth Academy career will be back tomorrow for you to enjoy as well. That will be obviously going a long way. And we are going back to the West Coast for LAFC to see what they can do now, to see if they can keep expanding, or are they going to hit a brick wall. We are going northwest. Is that possible for LAFC to go northwest? It technically is. It is against Portland. So we are going against Portland Timbers. Will they control now finally all of the California region plus Oregon, or will they get knocked out and Portland take over California and take out 2 California clubs, in fact, as well in that process? Let me go ahead and do this setup, which takes forever. LAFC versus Portland Timbers. This is going to be a great head-to-head. Let's see who comes out on top. It is going to go ahead and be LAFC. So LAFC, go ahead and take over the rest of Canada, the rest of California, alongside Oregon. And we say goodbye to another MLS club in Portland. LAFC, we can make the logo bigger because they are now finally the biggest club in the league. I have a feeling they might end up winning the whole thing, to be honest. I really do. They're going to have to get a major upset from Vancouver, a major upset from Real Salt Lake of all teams. That would be insane. But we do say goodbye to Portland Timbers. We are now down to 20 clubs. So we actually got rid of 8 clubs in what, 45 minutes. That's actually not that that's not that good, to be honest, for me at least. But we are going to go ahead and get Montreal. We are going back towards the East Coast-ish. Montreal, they obviously took over one part of the New York side, obviously breaking into the USA illegally this time around. They did go ahead and actually win their way into it. Let's go ahead and see which way they are going. They can't go north. North is Canada. They cannot do that. That is just not possible for them to do. So we'll go ahead and respin the wheel and see which way they now go. We are going south. They can't go south, I know that much. They can go south, and I just opened Premiere Pro by accident, so that's going to be annoying. Montreal, they can go south, which is against Philadelphia Union, the other team that was in the final of the MLS tournament, the MLS playoffs last season. It's going to be Montreal versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia Union, the other team that might be the favorites to win this entire thing. They are kicking it off here, and they will face off against Montreal, and they will take out Montreal as well. So we say goodbye to our first Canadian club in Montreal. They have done a decent job here. I mean, they really only broke into New York City FC, and that's it. But Philadelphia are going to go ahead and get that part of New York. If I can go ahead and erase this properly. Now that right there is going to be an issue, isn't it? Okay, so we say goodbye to Montreal, Philadelphia. I'm not really going to make the logo that much bigger because they're really not taking that much land. But they are there in Philadelphia, and New York as a plane are looking to crash into Philadelphia possibly in the future. Who did just get knocked out? Montreal did, so we say goodbye to Montreal. We're down to 19 clubs. Next up is actually New York City FC, so can they actually go ahead and look, see which way they go? They can just go anywhere besides east, because east is an ocean. They don't want to go crashing into the water now. Northwest for New York City FC. Northwest is into, obviously, Philadelphia Union now, obviously part of. Can New York reclaim their whole state of New York plus Pennsylvania, or will Pennsylvania, Philadelphia go ahead and continue to march their way through and slowly get bigger and bigger as kind of expected in a way? New York City FC versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia should have an easy walk in the park here, but instead, New York City FC go ahead and actually knock off Philadelphia. That's insane. We say goodbye to the MLS runners-up of last season, and we say goodbye now to the plane because the plane just got a little bit bigger, and Philadelphia have gone crashing out. Well, New York City will go ahead and take over the rest of New York City, or the rest of New York, as well as Pennsylvania and obviously Massachusetts, who they took out last time for the New England Revolution. They are looking good, and again, another blue club go ahead and succeed. I really kind of want to get Columbus versus FC Cincinnati out of the way. I want to get Real Salt Lake versus Colorado. We're not really getting any more free states, so maybe we actually go ahead and get some free states just to take up some real estate. That way we are constantly getting battles. Obviously, not yet to get a Florida battle as well. If we ever get Miami, the only way they can go up is through Orlando, so that would be an instant battle. But we do say goodbye to the Philadelphia Union, probably one of my favorites to actually win the whole thing. But now I think I have LAC as runaway favorites. And next up, it is DC United in Maryland-ish, and obviously DC United, they are going to go ahead and go. If you don't know where DC United is, you can probably barely see them on this map. They are way down here, right here. Now this color right here, right underneath New York, should technically be DC United as well. It's just not connected for some reason. They can go kind of in almost any direction, to be honest. I kind of hope they go north against New York City FC. To be honest, that'd be a lot easier for me. And then obviously New York City FC go ahead and win that. But we will go ahead and see which way they go. If they go any other way besides north, I'm going to be a little bit upset. They are going northwest. Northwest for them is technically into New York City FC. I mean, it is not really technically. It is into New York City FC. So New York City are going to have to defend themselves once again, this time from Wayne Rooney's DC United, who are set to get Serguson from Everton, which is insane. Let me go ahead and set that up, and we'll see who comes out victorious on that end. Can Wayne Rooney, DC United outlast the New York City FC and the Blue Curse? They can. And DC United go ahead and knock off the Blue Club. The Blue Club curse might not be real after this. It's 3-1. Benteke go ahead and scores a brace in the second half. Klitsch coming into the first half. But DC United are going to go ahead and knock off New York City FC. They did all that work to get back the home state plus Pennsylvania just to get knocked out. And here comes DC United marching in, and they will go ahead and get New York. But there we go. We say goodbye to New York City FC, and we can finally make this logo here bigger. That way it's not so grainy, and you can finally see who it is. And DC United now take off a big chunk of land. Obviously not the biggest chunk of land, but up there as well as one of the biggest chunks. And they now control technically 4 states in Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. Let's get into the next club. Let's see who we get up next. Can we finally get Real Salt Lake is their question. I doubt it, but I really hope so. But first, actually, before we spin it, New York City FC, goodbye. We're down to 17 clubs. Let's go ahead and shuffle it up a little bit. Please give me Real Salt Lake. The wheel is slowing down. I don't really see Real Salt Lake, but I do see Minnesota. We obviously have gotten Minnesota before, but it was a free territory for them. Are they going to battle anybody anytime soon? No, they can only get a free territory. So Minnesota are going to go ahead and grow a little bit larger. It just depends where and which way. And they are going east. I think that might be the only way they can't technically go. Can they go east? Oh, they can go east. They can go into Wisconsin. They are going to go ahead and take over another state. And they are going to go slowly get bigger as well. But by not beating anybody. Just by getting lucky that nobody else is around them. And that right there is why it has Chicago a different color. So I might make Chicago red again, to be honest. In fact, I am going to go ahead and make Chicago red again. Just simply because I want some differential in there. And there we go. Minnesota get bigger. Chicago changes back to red. And we go on to move to another club. We get FC Cincinnati as our next club. One of the two... I almost said New York. One of the two... We get FC Cincinnati as a next club, one of the 2 clubs in Ohio. Obviously, Columbus Crew is the next one, the Hell is Real Battle Derby, whatever. Can we get that now, or are they going to go ahead and go somewhere else? It's looking like they might go somewhere else. It depends where I put them on the map, though. East for them, was it east? East for them is actually, never mind. How I put them in there, FC Cincinnati East is not Columbus Crew, but it is DC United. So DC United have a chance to extend even farther after getting the free state from New York City FC. Can they get a little bit of Ohio, or will FC Cincinnati grow into a massive part of the East Coast? And let's go ahead and get into this battle. FC Cincinnati versus DC United. FC Cincinnati get it done in overtime. 3-1. DC United say goodbye. And it's looking like whoever's getting this little bit of land here is getting the curse once they get a battle. And FC Cincinnati get that big part of land. They might be cursed, though, because that little land, it looks like it's really cursed. Next up, it is going to go ahead and be Atlanta United. I thought that was going to be Columbus Crew. I thought the instant curse was going to happen. But Atlanta United of Georgia, obviously not involved yet. Let's see which way they are going to look to go. They are going southeast, which is going to go ahead and be the ocean. So they really can't go southeast. So let's see which way they can go. They can go any other way besides southeast. They can't really go east as well, can they? Because east technically is that way as well. Southeast and then east. They really can't go east at all. They can go northeast technically, I guess. They could technically go northeast, but they can't go west or east, straight east. They can go north though. And north is going to be a battle of... Now, which way do you think it is? Atlanta United, let's just say that center is here. Straight north is going to go ahead and be Charlotte. So it's going to be a battle between Atlanta United and Charlotte FC. And I have a spidery sense that it's going to be Atlanta United out on top. Atlanta United versus Charlotte FC. Atlanta United should come out on top of it, and they do. They go ahead and knock off Charlotte FC, and Atlanta United are your winner in this battle, and they will go ahead and get the Carolinas. And there it goes. Atlanta United, a big chunk of land. This is forming somewhat nicely. but it's still not there yet. We still have a lot of clubs left to go. I really want to fill this out. That way we get some big battles. I really want one of these two teams to battle it out here. So let's hopefully we get another team. Let's hopefully we get our first team. I'm starting to think that they're 9 here, but I know they are. I literally see them right there. Where's Real Salt Lake? But first, we got to say goodbye to Charlotte. We will go ahead and give this another shuffle. And we're down to our last 15 clubs. Out of the 28, we have lost 13 clubs today. And we are going to go ahead and get Chicago. It was so close to giving me Columbus. Or not Columbus. To giving me Colorado. We go ahead and get Chicago. And Chicago, we are going northwest for Chicago. Northwest is technically South Dakota. Is that no? That's not South Dakota. I'm so dumb. I'm losing my mind. That's how dumb I am. They are gonna go ahead and get a free state though. They go ahead and get a free state. Next state up, it is gonna go ahead and be back to Atlanta United, back towards the south coast, back to the south. Atlanta United, let's see which way they can go. Can we creep into Florida yet, or is Florida still untouchable? And we are going into Florida here against Orlando. It's going to be Atlanta United versus Orlando here. A battle of the South. Let's see who comes out on top. Orlando versus Atlanta United. Will Florida creep north, or will Atlanta United creep south? And Orlando is going to go ahead and take out Atlanta United. They are going to go ahead and take over Georgia plus the Carolinas. So Florida, they are looking to expand northwards. Now Orlando City take control of both Carolinas, Georgia, and obviously a majority of Florida. However, into Miami could come straight through north. I mean, that's the only way they can go is north and take out Orlando City. Let's see what happens in the future though. But first, we have to spin a wheel. We obviously would have to get into Miami, but we do say goodbye to Atlanta United, and we are down to 14 clubs. And instantly, we are going to go ahead and get Inter Miami. So we are going to go ahead and get Inter Miami versus Orlando. The only way Inter Miami can go is straight north. So we are going to go ahead and set this up. A Florida battle for a big chunk of the South-ish. Let's set it up. Let's see who goes through. Orlando versus Inter Miami, where Orlando can take control of the entirety of Florida, or will Inter Miami come crashing through and take everything? It's going to be Orlando on top 4-2. Orlando City take over the entire state of Florida and keep control of their territory as well. And there we go. Orlando City is there. They take control of the southeast portion of the United States. LAFC take control of the east, of the west portion, I should say. FC Cincinnati are up in the northeast. Texas is controlled by FC Dallas. Let's go and do a couple more as long in part 2. And then we'll see what happens after that. I mean, part 1. There might be a part 2. There might not. But next up, it is going to go ahead and be creeping into Toronto. We are going to go ahead and have possibly another chance for an MLS Canadian club to get knocked out here. Can they really get anywhere freely? No, they either get Columbus or they get a free one. They go ahead and get Southwest, which is the free one. Of course it is. Southwest, I'm going to go ahead and give them this free state. They are going to go ahead and get a little bit of free territory here. So Toronto extends themselves freely into the United States, and they're getting a little bit deeper into the United States as well. Oh, we get Real Salt Lake. Okay, hold on. Real Salt Lake. They will be up first. We finally get them. But I got to check something else here. History, Open AI results. What was the last one? Was it Southwest? Alright, so Real Salt Lake, who are they going to get? Will they get LSC? Will they get Colorado? Or will they get Arizona for free? We are going west. We are going west, which is going to go ahead and beat LAFC. So Real Salt Lake versus LAFC. Can the LA club continue to grow and get a little part of, well, not really get a little part, but get the entire part of Utah? Or will Real Salt Lake become the biggest club in this competition left? Real Salt Lake, can they take out El Tráfico Club, LAFC, or will LAFC continue to dominate that map? They will continue to dominate, taking out Utah and taking control of Utah, I should really say. And they will grow bigger and bigger. This time not that much bigger, but at least bigger as well. And there we go. LAFC are looking to expand eastward now. Can they take control of Idaho and Arizona? I mean, it's free there if they get there first. They still have somewhat of Washington up here to really deal with. This chunk right here is all up to what club gets there first out of these four, I guess really five technically if you count Kansas City. Let's go ahead and give it another wheel spin. Next club up is going to go ahead and be Chicago once again. Let's see where Chicago goes now. Chicago, they can only get one more free stay if I'm not mistaken. They can only get one more free stay. It's reading Photoshop format. They can actually get technically three more states: southeast, south, and then northwest. I guess technically I would give it to them if they would got northwest, but they went ahead and gonna go ahead and get north, which is gonna go ahead and be a battle with Minnesota. So Chicago versus Minnesota, who's gonna come out on top? Let me know in the comments. Minnesota versus Chicago Fire. Let's see who comes out on top. I'm gonna bet it's gonna be Minnesota. Actually, I was about to say Chicago, but it is gonna go ahead and be Minnesota on top. So Minnesota are gonna start to go southward and reclaim Chicago and Illinois. Well, not really reclaim, but claim them now finally at first. And Minnesota are going to rival LFC as the biggest club left on the board. We still have Columbus, who haven't got touched, Colorado, who haven't got touched, Nashville, who hasn't really got touched, and I guess really Vancouver, who got touched but beat Seattle. That sounds crazy to say it got touched, but y'all know what I mean. Obviously, as a state, or at least half a state here with Columbus. FC Cincinnati, I mean, I should really give them these free because that's the only way they can go. I should really give them their free, to be honest, because nobody else can really rival them. They did close it off there. I think I might do that, actually. In fact, I am going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and give FC Cincinnati all of these states because they cannot really be touched by anybody other club by themselves unless they get through FC Cincinnati, which when they do, they will obviously retain that free information. So I'm going to go ahead and give FC Cincinnati all of this free territory up in the northeast part of the country. And there we go. FC Cincinnati now control the whole northeastern part. They do get that for free because it was cut off. Nobody else could get there unless Columbus go through there. Nashville, obviously, all those other clubs, they have to work their way through that way. But for now, FC Cincinnati get that way. And they are now one of the biggest clubs in the competition as well. Let's see who up is next in the Wheel of Death. We say goodbye to Chicago. And we are down to how many clubs now? 13? 11. We're down to 11 clubs in the competition. And we are going back to California for LAFC. LAFC, they have a chance to get 2 free states here, or a battle with Washington or Colorado. They actually have a chance really at 3 free states and then a battle against Colorado and Vancouver. Let's see if they get a battle or if they get free real estate once again. Actually, they haven't ever gotten free real estate. They've battled their way through the whole entire thing. Let's see if they get finally real estate now. Northwest is going to go ahead and be... Northwest is technically off the ocean, right? Yeah. So we cannot do Northwest. That is the only way. They don't get any land at all. They can't really claim the ocean. They can claim it as much as they want, but they really can't. We are going west. Straight west is not possible as well. That's straight into the ocean again. So we'll spin it once more. And they are going to go ahead and go north, which is a battle against Washington. I'm going to go ahead and give it. I could give it to Idaho, but I'm going to go ahead and give it straight battle with Vancouver here. So a chance for the Canadian club to knock off LAFC, or for LAFC to knock out a Canadian club as well. LAFC versus Vancouver. Can LAFC continue to grow? Can Vancouver take a mass majority? Vancouver go ahead and knock off LAFC, and LAFC are gone, and Vancouver are now the biggest club on the United States board here. That's insane to even think about. That is insane to think about, but here we go. Vancouver, say goodbye to LAFC in a big chunk of another blue club. Another massive area, and a blue club takes over, and Vancouver Whitecaps are now controlling the biggest part of the United States map here. We're down to our last 10 clubs of this imperialism. How have we not touched Colorado or FC or Columbus Crew at all yet is mind-boggling. But we are going to Texas for FC Dallas. Will they continue to grow, or will they get matched with some heat? They can face off against Colorado. They can face off against Sporting Kansas City. But besides that, it's looking like they might get some free real estate here. So let's go ahead and spin the direction wheel and hopefully get them some free real estate. And we are going west, which is going to go ahead and be New Mexico. So FC Dallas get bigger, and they will get New Mexico. And now FC Dallas might actually have the second biggest land. I mean, they definitely have a big chunk. They have a big chunk of the South. This area right here, Arizona is up to Vancouver and FC Dallas. Colorado really can't get there unless they go southeast or southwest, but even that, I'm going to give that to Vancouver, to be honest. They can only go north if they want to extend freely. We still haven't got Nashville yet either. What is going on? Next club up. Can we finally get our first club of some nations? No, we cannot, because we get Sporting KC. We go back to Kansas City, and we are going to go ahead and see which way they go. Sporting KC is looking like we are going south. Is that feasible for them? Of course it is, and in fact it's going to be against FC Dallas. Will FC Dallas control and defend that land, or will Kansas City break again into another nation, into another state, and another big chunk of land? FC Dallas versus Sporting KC. Will Texas come out on top as it should, or will Sporting Kansas break through? In fact, FC Dallas go ahead and beat Sporting KC, and they will go ahead and get another massive, well, not really massive, but another big chunk of land. We say goodbye to Sporting KC, and another light blue club will go ahead and get deleted. And we say goodbye to Sporting KC. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and create a second logo here of FC Dallas. That's just how big they are. They get a second logo there, just a little bit smaller in that portion. And now they are officially the biggest land left. And the land in Colorado is getting literally enclosed as we speak. They are going to have to do a miracle. And they really only takes one win for them to become one of the biggest clubs in the thing as well. And FC Dallas, we get them again. FC Dallas are on a roll. Now, on other imperialism videos, once you get knocked out a club or knocked out a team, you normally get their highest overall player. I've not done this time, but if I do end up doing one in the Premier League, maybe if this does well, I will go ahead and do that. And we are going northeast for FC Dallas. Northeast. Which one of the three do you want? Do you want to battle with Minnesota, or do you want one of these three states? I'm going to go ahead and give them this state here, the middle state in between the three free ones, just because it's a little bit of the most northeastern region. I'm going to go ahead and give them over here, and I actually got to go ahead and do that, and then I, and then G, and they will get that, and FC Dallas will get just one more state bigger, but they will get bigger nonetheless. I literally thought we almost got FC Dallas again, but this time we get FC Cincinnati, finally getting some fresh faces on here. We are going to start to get a little bit of the same clubs over and over again, obviously, because as we get less and less teams, we're going to go ahead and get less and less options for different teams. That's just basic common knowledge. Let's see which way FC Cincinnati is. They did just get some free land. They are going to possibly have to defend that land going southwards. And in fact, they actually aren't going to have to defend that land. They are going to get some more free land. So FC Cincinnati are growing bigger again. And FC Cincinnati are now officially just a little bit bigger. And we move on to the next club quickly now. Free states, I'm not going to spend that much time. Next club up, we finally finally get Nashville. It took us forever to actually get them, but we do finally get Nashville. Nashville are pretty much enclosed in free territory unless they go east or west, but any other way they are getting a free state, so they might actually have a chance here to get a bit bigger, but they also have a chance to get massively bigger as well, or get completely deleted. Let's see which way they go. I'm kind of hoping they get FC Dallas, to be honest, but they are going north, and that is going to go ahead and be a free state for them. So they go a free north. And there we go, Nashville there as well. Columbus Crew is completely surrounded now. I don't know how we haven't gotten Columbus Crew at all. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle it a little bit more. Maybe we get Columbus here. Hopefully we get Columbus here. Give me Columbus. Give me Colorado. Just give me something. We are going to go ahead and actually get Colorado. So we are going to find the fate out of Colorado. Can they get free? If they go north, they can get a free territory if they go north. So please, just don't go north. Just don't go north, and I will be happy. Just don't go north. Just don't go north. Just give me, like, east. Give me east or west, and they're going north. They get free state. They're going to go ahead and pick up a free state. They get free north. And quickly up into the next team, just quickly going, we have Toronto. Toronto, they are going to get a battle nonetheless. Which way they can go? They can go west, east. They can go anywhere besides north. Straight north is nothing that is possible. So let's go ahead and go here. And in fact, I'm actually going to take off north from being visible. They can go any other way from being besides north. They will face off against the team no matter what. Will it be Columbus? Will it be somebody else? We are going southeast. Southeast is actually going to go ahead and be Nashville. So Nashville, who just got a free land, they are instantly into battle now. So Nashville versus Toronto. Can a singing nation take out the Canadian nation? Nashville versus Toronto. Who will come out on top? It will be Toronto in extra time by 2. Bernardeschi and Insigne get the job done, and Toronto knock off Nashville, and we say goodbye to Nashville, who had little involvement in this video. And once they came up to battle, they came up short, and short did they come up quickly. And they will get deleted as quickly as they got added, and Nashville gone. Toronto get bigger, and Toronto, are they the only Canadian club left? Yes. Yeah, they aren't, because Vancouver now has. Oh, yes, I forgot. So there actually might be a Canadian club that might win the whole entire thing. That would be insane. But we say goodbye to Nashville, and we're down to our bottom 10 teams. Let me go actually put this back on. And Nashville, we say goodbye to you, and we are down to our top 9 teams. I say top 10, but top 9 teams. Nashville coming 10th. Next up is FC Cincinnati. Let's go ahead and see what they can do. See which way they can go. Which way can they go? They can go not northeast, not north. They can go south, technically. They can go south and really west and southwest. One of them being a free nation or a free state, and one of them, or all 3 other ones, being a battle. And we are going west, which I think it might actually finally be the Hell is Real. West, it will finally be the Hell is Real Derby. We finally get Columbus Crew. Now, we don't actually select Columbus Crew, but Columbus Crew are finally getting into action. The last team that hasn't got touched yet. It's going to be the Hell is Real battle. Let's see who comes out on top. Cincinnati versus Columbus Crew. The Hell is Real Derby. Who comes out on top? It's going to be FC Cincinnati. So the first time we say Columbus Crew in battle, they go ahead and crumble completely. And Ohio now fully belongs to Columbus once again. And they get another somewhat half part of land. I mean, they really only get the rest of Ohio. That's really all they're claiming here. So it's not that much. But we do say goodbye to Columbus Crew, and FC Cincinnati are going to get their second logo on the board. A little bit smaller this time, but into the Ohio region. They get the full state of Ohio, and they'll actually get a third logo up here as well, because why not? We'll go ahead and center that a little bit. And here is the state as it stands. We have 7 teams left to go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 free territories left to claim as well. But 4 is straight battles. Let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and just have this all as one part because I can't be bothered doing that. Who is up next? It is going to go ahead and go back to FC Cincinnati. Back to the club that just took out their biggest rivals. Who will they battle? Which way can they go? They can really only go south and west and southwest. Well, I'm just going to go south and west, to be honest, because south is free and southwest is... South and west is both Toronto. So they can only go really 2 to 3 ways. Technically only 2. So they can go south and they can go west. Because southwest is technically a battle. Will they get a battle or will they get a free state? It's looking like they are going to go ahead and get that free state. They will get south. They will get a free state into the Virginia regions. If I'm not mistaken, that is Virginia. It is Virginia. They will go ahead and get Virginia for free. Up next is going to go ahead and be Colorado, one of the teams that really hasn't got any action, really. They did claim a free state, and Colorado can go every way. They are pretty much in the middle. They can go every single way, so we'll go ahead and bag everybody back up on here and see which way they go. They can only get free territory going north or east. I'm going to give that northeast. That's going to have to be northeast and kind of northwestish, westish for them to get a free territory. But other than that, they are getting a battle. It is going to go ahead and be west. I'm going to go ahead and give that a big chunk of the land. It's kind of in the middle right there, which is kind of west. Like, this is kind of the middle here, which west is going to be Vancouver. So it's going to be Colorado versus Vancouver. Will a Canadian club get 2 states bigger, or will Colorado become the biggest club on the board? Colorado versus the Whitecaps. Who comes out on top? Who gets bigger? And Vancouver is going to actually go ahead and get 2 states bigger. I was kind of hoping that Colorado did it just because why not? Underdog story. But Colorado, we say goodbye to you. And Vancouver will get 2 states bigger on the board. And goodbye, Colorado. And hello, Vancouver. Your second logo. We'll make it a little bit smaller than the big thing. But there it is. Vancouver now taking off a big majority of the map. They technically haven't closed off Idaho yet, but if they do go north, they will close off Idaho, because Minnesota technically could get there. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel again. But first, I have to delete Colorado, and we are down to our last 6 clubs. We're nearly into the top 5. Minnesota. They can go any way besides north, right? North and northwest. I'll give that to Toronto. They can go any way besides north. I'm not going to bother just taking off north. That's just too much work sometimes. They are going south or west. Southwest is going to go ahead and bleed into FC Dallas. So Minnesota versus FC Dallas. As FC Dallas win this, they will pretty much close off Vancouver from the whole west side of the map, and everybody's going to have to go through FC Dallas to get to either side of there. If Minnesota win it, they do the same thing as well. Technically, they will close it off. So somebody is closing off the middle of the map here. Let's see what team it is. Who is going to come out on top, FC Dallas or Minnesota? It is going to go ahead and be Minnesota United. They knock off the Texas club, and we are done with Texas clubs. All 3 of them have been knocked out, and the state with only one team go ahead and get FC Dallas, and they are going to become the biggest club on the board now. And Minnesota United are absolutely insane. And Minnesota United are going to go ahead and get this. And I will make this logo a lot bigger because it is a big nation. It is a big team. It's pretty much half the nation now. They pretty much cut off the entirety of Vancouver and the entirety of the East Coast towards these teams. This state is still up to grab to either club there. Toronto technically could get that if they get northwest enough. I would give it to them. Minnesota United, Vancouver are looking to battle out in the future. But we are now down to our final 5 clubs of this tournament. Out of these 5, who are going to win it? Vancouver, Toronto, Cincinnati, Minnesota, or Orlando? Drop your comments down below. But we are finally down to a top 5 of the MLS Imperialism board. If you are enjoying this, like I said, go ahead and leave a like as we land on FC Cincinnati. Who will they get? I don't really care which way they can go. FC Cincinnati, they can only really go south or southwest again, so it's either way. So they can't go north, they can go south, they can't go east, they can go west, they can go northwest, they can't go northeast, they can't go southeast, they can't go southwest. FC Cincinnati, they will battle off against somebody here. It's whether or not it's Toronto or Orlando. It is going to go ahead and actually be northwest, which is going to go ahead and be Toronto. So FC Cincinnati versus Toronto FC. Let's see who comes out on top. One Canadian club controls a big chunk of the map. Can the other one now control the other side of the map and control dominance in there? Yes, they can. Toronto, get it done on penalties against FC Cincinnati. And FC Cincinnati's terror of run has finally been stomped, this time by a Canadian club in Toronto. I forgot actually, Toronto has some decent players in there. They could get the job done here as well in this entire thing, and it is looking like it might actually end up being them. So take over FC Cincinnati, and we say goodbye to FC Cincinnati, and Toronto are about to become multi-logoed on the board here, and there they come. Why not? We are down to our final 4 clubs in the board. FC Cincinnati get top 5. That is great for them, but we're down to our top 4 now. Orlando, Toronto, Minnesota. And there's still free territory to gain here. There's obviously still battles here to gain as well. Let's see who comes up next. 4 clubs left on the board. I've been recording for 2.5 hours, and it is going to be Orlando. They are up next. Which way can Orlando go? They can go north or they can go west. That is really it. I mean, north. And let's see which way they do go. They will either get a free state east or they will battle off against Toronto. And it's looking like they are going to give a free state west. I said east, but I meant west. They are going to go ahead and get a free state westward. So Orlando, grow just a little bit bigger. There we go. Orlando City get that much bigger. It's not much at all, to be honest. And we move on now. And we are getting Orlando again. Orlando again can only go the same direction, so we'll just quickly get into that wheel as well. They can really only go north. Can they go any other direction? No, because any other direction, they can only expand westward or they will battle off against somebody. We are going northwest, which is a battle against Toronto. Can the Canadian club now control the entire south portion of this United States and pretty much have the entire eastern coast? Well, not have pretty much, they will have the entire eastern coast. Let's see who comes out on top. Orlando City versus Toronto FC, USA versus Canada, and Canada once again comes out on top. They started all the way in the north, and now they control the entire eastern portion of this map, and now they control the south, the majority of the south as well. And Toronto FC are going to go ahead and say goodbye to Orlando, and I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Not that though, because that is free territory still. And there we go. Orlando City, we say goodbye to you. You had a decent little run there towards the end, but Toronto FC get another logo. And we are up now to our final 3 clubs. 2 Canada clubs and 1 United States club left on the board. That's actually insane. I did not think this would happen. And out of the USA clubs, I would think LAFC would be over here still. Let's go ahead and see which we still have free states. We have Louisiana, we have Alabama, we have Mississippi. We still have these states: Idaho, Maryland, Arizona, South Dakota. And we are going to go ahead and kick it off with Minnesota, the only American club left in battle. Let's see where they go. Which way can they go? They can go south for free. If they go south, I'll give them this for free. I'll give them Missouri for free. They can go southeast, southwest. I mean, any other way. They just can't go north. Any other way, they'll get something. So they cannot just go north. So north, we will delete. Any other way, we will figure out for them. And let's see which way that is going to go ahead and actually end up being. We are going southeast with Minnesota. And southeast is technically, would you give them, this is where the compass would come out. Because east straight is Toronto. Southeast technically is theirs, which is pointing towards Mississippi, which would cut off Louisiana. But then that would leave that weirdly there. I'm going to go ahead and give them Mississippi. To be honest, I really am going to give them Mississippi, which is also going to cut off the Louisiana as well. So they are getting 2 free states here as well for Minnesota. So they will grow 2 states bigger now. Not really 2 bigger states, but 2 decent-sized states. And G here, and Minnesota get that much bigger. Move on now. And we are going to go ahead and land on Toronto FC. One of the 2 Canadian clubs left to go. They can really only go westward, right? I mean, yeah, they can only go westward. It's really a matter of straight west, I'll give them the free state. Any other west, it's going to go ahead and be a battle. West, I'll give them free. Any other way, it's a battle with Minnesota United. Any other way, it's a battle with Minnesota, and it is going to actually not be a battle with Minnesota. They are going to go ahead and get that free territory, which is insane to think about. They are going to go ahead and get Missouri for free, which is kind of criminal to even think about, to be honest. They really shouldn't get this for free. This should really go to Minnesota, but it goes to Toronto. There we go. And Toronto get bigger, and we are down left to 4 free states left to go. And you know what? I'm actually going to make it 3 free states. I'm going to go ahead and give Vancouver, Idaho. Just because, I mean, let's be real. It's going to take 2 turns for them to get for them over here for Minnesota. So I'm going to go ahead and give Vancouver, Idaho. And Vancouver gets a little bit bigger as well. And there we go with down to our final 3 states, or final 3 teams, and final 3 free states as well. Let's see what happens. Obviously, it might not even matter at all. We might get just straight battles with free states as well. And we are going to go ahead and get Minnesota. So Minnesota, they are looking to defend the homeland. They can go any way besides north. Actually, no, north, I'll give them this. North, I'll give them South Dakota. North, I will give them South Dakota. South, I will give them South Dakota. Any other way, it's a battle with the Canadian side, and it is going to go ahead and be southeast, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a battle with Toronto. So we might be finally down to our last 2 nations. Southeast, it's a battle with Toronto here. Let's see who comes out on top. Will America or will Toronto FC come out on top? Who will come out on top? Will it be Minnesota, or will it be Toronto and have a all-Canadian final battle to take control of the United States map, which is just absurd to even think about? I'm going to say right now, Insigne and Bernardeschi is going to be the deal breakers here for this squad. They are going to go ahead and break through that Minnesota wall, and it is going to go ahead and be Toronto into the final. It will be Toronto versus Vancouver, which is going to be absolutely crazy. The Canadian clubs, which I didn't think actually had a chance at all, but it will go ahead and be Toronto versus, and here we go. You ready for a big chunk of land to turn kind of this dirtyish pink color? There it is. Toronto FC take control of the land, and Toronto FC are going to get another, oh, they're not going to get another logo. They're just going to get a massive logo there as well. It'll be Toronto FC versus Vancouver. These free nations, these free states don't count anymore because it's going to be straight head-to-head on with Vancouver versus Toronto through a simulation that we'll actually get to watch through. And so Vancouver versus Toronto. Toronto get the home team here. They'll be the home nation. It's Canada versus Canada in the MLS final to take control of the United States board map. If you have enjoyed the video, if you have watched this far, let me know who you think will score the winner out of these two teams, and leave a like and subscribe for another Imperialism video, possibly with the Premier League. Vancouver on the attack again. It's White on the ball into Gold. Back to White. White's going to look to take it himself. The pass in for Witte. Saved by Johnson. Witte, or White, I should say, not Witte. White with the second shot. Again saved by the keeper. And Toronto get it clear. Vancouver had the first real look on chance for a goal this game. But here comes Toronto. Here comes Diamande. Diamande, he should pass it to Insigne. There it is. And Insigne runs straight into the defender. And we might be going to halftime 0-0. We are going to halftime 0-0 here in the MLS final. The battle for America. These two Canadian clubs haven't broken through each other's side. Vancouver, the only one that actually looked like they might break through. They had the best chance. I mean, both of them had 2 shots, but theirs was a lot better, 2 shots, than Toronto's. We'll see who comes out on top in these 45 minutes here, or possibly go to extra time. Be my pleasure. The header comes in, the cross from the free kick, and Vancouver have the lead. It's White who scores, I believe. I think he put it in. He did. White takes the lead for Vancouver, and they break the deadlock. It did always look like they were going to actually be able to break through. And here comes a free kick from distance. Chipped into the box. White, a lofting header over the keeper. Really should be saving that. Shouldn't be out of his line that much. But nonetheless, Vancouver take the lead over Toronto. And they are less than 45 minutes away from being the champions of this Imperialism build. Laria, he's taking it from coast to coast here for Toronto. Cross in for Diamande, and his shot is high. Their best look on net all game, and it's from Diamande, who's now getting subbed off. And he dragged his shot awfully high. Insigne, he has to be the man to save him, and he might be. Insigne, his shot, a little bit more effort on it, but saved again. Osorio went for the chip, and that will be that over. Vancouver will win it. Vancouver will take control of USA, take control of, technically, I guess, Canada, if you really want to stay there as well. But Vancouver get the job done, and Vancouver control America. I did not expect that at all. But Vancouver do get the job done, and here we go. Let's go ahead and get into Photoshop here. Let's not care about that. Let's go ahead and show y'all. Vancouver will now control the entirety. Actually, I should probably do this, shouldn't I? Hold on. And are y'all ready to say goodbye to Toronto? Say goodbye, Vancouver. Take control of the entirety of the USA. Here we go. Let me go ahead and make this bigger here with Vancouver now. And Vancouver will go on to the left-hand side. They'll go over here. They'll go up here. They'll go down here. Vancouver, control USA. Vancouver, go ahead and win this Imperialism vid. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, subscribe. Until next time, peace out.